Right now at 10, construction work on Monroe Street has some businesses struggling. We'll tell you how one local festival hopes to help out those businesses. Plus, how one city is helping a woman battling cancer cross off an item off her bucket list. And people across the state enjoying 4th of July celebrations, including patriotic music on the square.
This is News 3 at 10.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Happy 4th of July, everyone. Monroe Street businesses struggling due to construction are getting support from an unlikely source. Keely Arthur explains how some State Street business owners are helping out. Keely?
That's right, Mark. The Maxwell Street Days Festival attracts 40,000 shoppers every July, boosting sales for stores on State Street 3 times the average weekend. And now they're spreading the wealth to Monroe Street businesses.
Well, I love all the items I buy from the people in Africa.
Step into Calabash Gifts in Madison, and you'll likely feel like you've been transported to a shop in Africa.
And then those baskets, some are from Zimbabwe, a lot are from Zululand.
Leah Kessel and husband Raymond, both originally from South Africa, have owned Calabash for 24 years, and business has been good.
And then I sell a lot of plates.
That is until recently, when the city broke ground for a major redo of Monroe Street, making access into the Kessel's unique world far more difficult.
And then it's been really bad and scary for us.
So bad that Leah fears the business won't last. She says this June, only 2 people made it past the construction and into the shop.
That's really bad. And this is going on until November.
Enter Sean Scannell, the owner of the soap opera and this year's lead organizer of Maxwell Street Days, the area's largest and longest-running shopping festival, strictly open to State Street businesses, until now.
But we saw a chance to help another community. We know that Monroe Street's struggling with all of the road construction down there.
All Monroe Street businesses are invited, even encouraged to participate.
And I went down, I've actually been canvassing down there trying to get businesses to sign up.
The Kessels have already agreed, and later on in July will be bringing a piece of their world and livelihood over to State Street.
It gives us hope. And I hope, that it's not a pouring or boiling hot day, and that people come and enjoy what they see, even if they don't buy.
Maxwell Street Days falls on the 3rd weekend of July.
It's nice to see that cooperation.
Yeah.
Thank you, Keely. Let's check in now with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti with our first alert forecast. Gary.
Boy, Mark, you talk about timing. There were showers and thunderstorms earlier this evening, but most of those fizzled out just before most of the area fireworks displays. You can see this is a 3-hour loop starting at around 7 o'clock, and by 9 o'clock, almost all the rain is gone. And here, just beyond 10 o'clock, the only showers that are left are out over Lake Michigan. Low temperatures this morning started out mild because of the muggy air. Here in Madison, we only dropped to 70 degrees, and high temperatures today were in the 90s through all of southern Wisconsin. 95 in Boscobel and La Crosse, 92 here in Madison, 91 in Janesville and Monroe. Current temperatures are still in the mid to upper 70s, although a few places have dropped into the upper 60s like Camp Douglas and Viroqua, where there were some showers and thunderstorms earlier. But dew point temperatures remain high, upper 60s to lower 70s, so the temperatures are going to stay warm overnight. And as we check out the heat index right now, it still feels like 79 degrees in Madison. So by tomorrow morning, temperatures only drop into the middle 70s. Tomorrow will be variably cloudy, warm and humid with high temperatures in the mid 80s and heat index values around 90. There could be a shower or thunderstorm chance in the afternoon, but that will lead to a break in the heat and humidity for Friday. That's your first alert forecast.
All right, Gary, thank you. Timing is everything. Well, an investigation is underway in Dodge County after a fatal 2-vehicle head-on crash. It happened around 2:30 this afternoon on the State Highway 16 bypass near 2nd Street Road in the township of Emmett. That's near Watertown. The deputies say the drivers in both of the vehicles had no passengers. Officials say the driver of the car that was westbound was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver of the eastbound vehicle transported to an area hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Deputies say one of the vehicles crossed the center line, but they did not say which one. The names of those involved in the crash are not yet being released. The Dane County Sheriff's Office is investigating the death of an inmate. Police say the 29-year-old man from Beaver Dam was found in medical distress early this morning. Jail and medical staff then began life-saving efforts. The medical examiner says the death does not appear to be suspicious. The man was arrested for operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated for the 4th offense and probation violation. A driver involved in a rollover crash on Madison's east side last night left the scene and initially told police that he was a jogger. It happened around 7:45 at the intersection of South Stoughton and Cottage Grove roads. Police say the 19-year-old driver had tried to make a lane change at the same time as another car. He overcorrected to avoid the other vehicle and hit the shoulder, causing his car to flip over. The 19-year-old ran and took off some of his clothing, but was eventually arrested after initially claiming to be an uninvolved jogger. Officers say the driver was not impaired and had minor injuries. He was cited for failure to have control, hit and run, and operating after revocation. A 4th of July parade today marks a chance for a local woman with a cancer diagnosis to check off something of her bucket list. Rose Schmidt brings us her story from Evansville.
Last year, Evansville put up signs during the parade saying, "We love Sally." But this year, they decided to do something that was a little different. The parade was filled with fire engines, tractors, and lots of people ready to grab candy. But all eyes were on Sally Reesum, the parade's grand marshal. She rode on a float called the Wagon of Hope. Sally has been treated for the last 2.5 years at the UW Carbone Cancer Center. Doctors originally told her she had a short time to live, but she's pulled through, getting new treatments and defying the odds. And throwing candy in the Independence Day parade tops her bucket list.
It's the only time you can get together and everybody's happy, everybody's joyful. It's relaxing. It's not like a big turkey dinner you have to do for Thanksgiving or presents. The 4th of July is a laid-back time.
Sally is a longtime 4-H leader who's lived in the Evansville community for most of her life. On the wagon, she was surrounded by family and friends who share her love of antique tractors. Up next on Sally's bucket list, quilting and spending time with people she loves. In Evansville, I'm Rose Schmidt for WISC News 3.
And doctors are looking at the genetics of Sally's cancer and trying to figure out why her case is different. Through that, they've identified other potential ways to treat her cancer. Well, members of the military were honored at the Duck Pond for 4th of July celebrations. Before the first pitch, there was a presentation to recognize current and past members of the military. Military members also received discounted prices on tickets for today's game against the Battle Creek. One active member of the military says he loves what he does and shows appreciation to all vets.
It's 4th of July. I try to teach my daughter to appreciate her country, try to raise her in a patriotic fashion. What can be more patriotic than baseball? A day like today, get out, enjoy America's pastime.
And for the first game of the second half of the season, the Mallards fell to the Battle Creek Bombers 7-0. A parade featuring kids from Mount Horeb is helping children build a bond with local firefighters. Children from around the community decorated their bikes and pedaled down the street for the annual Kitty Parade. The kids then get tours of the fire station. Firefighters say the parade is a good opportunity for children to get to know the firefighters.
Or if they need help, to let them know that we're here or that they can call 911 just to get them used to us and have a safe spot that they can come to for the community.
This is the last year that the fire station will be on 1st and Front Street. Hoagland says the new fire station should be done before 4th of July next year, and he hopes that the parade will be at that location in 2019. Hundreds of people enjoyed their holiday while listening to the sounds of concerts on the square. The theme for this evening's concert was American Salute and featured guest conductor Hugh Edwards. Some of the featured pieces include Peace Corps from Rockwell Reflections, as well as Wisconsin Forward Forever. The next Concerts on the Square date next Wednesday, July 11th. Over 3,000 pyrotechnics a minute lit up the New York City's skyline tonight for the Macy's 4th of July fireworks show. Kelly Clarkson, Ricky Martin, and Blake Shelton headlined the celebration this evening. The stars were also out in D.C. The Temptations and Renee Fleming performed. President Trump welcomed military families to the White House.
Thank you for keeping America safe, strong, proud, mighty, and free.
And for some people, this 4th of July is extra special. That's because they celebrated Independence Day by becoming U.S. citizens. Ahead on News 3 at 10, firefighters continue to battle dozens of wildfires out west, plus why a woman decided to climb the Statue of Liberty today. We'll have that story when we come back. Welcome back. Some Independence Day fireworks were canceled out west due to the threat of new wildfires. The National Interagency Fire Center reported more than 60 large active blazes burning across the country, most of them in western states. Firefighting helicopters flew into thick smoke today, battling a massive wildfire that's burned more than 80,000 acres in 3 rural counties west of Sacramento. Nearly 3,000 firefighters have been working around the clock, lighting backfires and building a containment line in an effort to keep the flames at bay. The wildfire is threatening more than 1,000 homes and buildings. Some drama at the Statue of Liberty on this 4th of July as thousands of visitors were forced off Liberty Island after a climber made her way up onto the statue. The intruder climbed up the statue's base after at least 6 people were taken into custody for hanging a banner that called for the abolishment of immigration and customs enforcement. People from the group Rise and Resist said the woman was protesting with them earlier. Police talked her down from the statue.
We tell them, no, you're coming with us one way or the other. So we try to talk to them, and they usually walk over to us. But this time we had to go up there, and we did it in a safe manner. And the group behind us made sure that we were safe as well. So it worked out very well.
The woman was on the base of the statue for nearly 4 hours. The 12 boys trapped in a cave in Thailand are getting stronger as rescuers try to figure out ways to get them out safely. The team is trapped about 2.5 miles from the entrance to the cave. To get out, they would need to navigate through areas that required full climbing gear, several flooded sections, parts too narrow to wear a scuba tank, and a nearly 100-foot underwater dive. Right now, crews are continuously pumping water out of the cave as fast as possible. The hope is that they bring the water level down far enough so that it'll be more safe for the kids to try to swim or even walk out. Millions of Americans are firing up their grill today for their Independence Day parties, but before you start cooking, you want to inspect your grill for a possible danger. Research shows about 130 people go to the emergency room every year with wire bristle brush injuries. It's due to a piece of a wire brush that's used to clean the grill, which can get stuck in the food and be consumed.
There's a piece of wire that you're not going to be able to digest, and that can actually cause an internal burn injury that can actually burn through parts of your stomach or your intestines.
Doctors say you can avoid these injuries by taking a damp cloth and wiping off the entire grill before turning it on. Well, high heat and humidity are to blame for at least the deaths of at least 17 people since Sunday in Quebec. Victims were mostly over the age of 50, male and living alone. None had air conditioning. 12 deaths were reported in Montreal and 5 were reported in eastern townships in Canada. Meteorologists say temperatures were in the mid-90s for Montreal Sunday and Monday, about 20 degrees higher than the normal temperatures this time of year. The heat index, which is what conditions feel like with the humidity, was above 100 degrees. Gary Canelti, hot all over the place.
Yeah, you know, we talk about the effects of heat on the body, especially over a prolonged period of time. This is what happened in Chicago back in 1995, that huge heat wave. The problem is your body doesn't have a chance to relax even at night if you don't have air conditioning, and so the effects of heat are cumulative, and after a 3 or 4 day heat experience, the number of deaths goes up pretty dramatically, so as we saw there. If
you know someone without air conditioning, you should check on them.
Right. Well, at least we've got one more day of heat and humidity here before we see a bit of a break in the overall weather pattern, and hopefully that will be the end of the heat here. Now you can see the winds pretty light across much of the upper Midwest tonight, but there is a cold front to the north and west. High temperatures today were in the 90s through just about all of Wisconsin except for the far northwestern portion of the state, and then up near Superior they stayed in the 70s. But here in Madison we're at 92, La Crosse at 95, Green Bay at 93 degrees. But as we check out the temperatures, they continue to fall, and that is good news. Hopefully that will take out most of the rest of the heat and humidity within about another day. There also were some thunderstorms that popped up ahead of that or in the heat, but those diminished as they pushed into southern Wisconsin just in time for most of the area fireworks displays to go off pretty much without a hitch. Now there are some more thunderstorms in Iowa. These will move east-southeastward, might clip southwestern Wisconsin late tonight, and there could be another little round of thunderstorms perhaps ahead of a cold front tomorrow afternoon. But right now, Doppler track has shown the showers and thunderstorms pretty much have cleared out of southern Wisconsin. And you can tell who got the rain and who didn't. There was an area of thunderstorms that developed from around Janesville to Watertown. Those moved eastward into Milwaukee, dousing people over at Summerfest there. And then to the west, that line of showers and thunderstorms moved into southwestern Wisconsin and pretty much broke apart as it approached Dane County. So in the middle, Madison, much of the central part of our viewing area, didn't get any rain at all. Time lapse from the WISC sky cam kind of tells the story. Clear skies this morning. The cumulus clouds popped up this afternoon, and then boom, there was one big thunderstorm that developed over the eastern portion of Dane County and moved away. But here on the west side, you can see it looks pretty ominous in the late early evening, but didn't have any rain here at the station. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. Pretty quiet out there now, but it still is pretty humid. Low temperatures this morning started out at 70. High temperature today, 92. And right now we're still at 77 degrees. The air is calm, so you don't even have the wind to help you out to give you a little bit of cooling. Heat index right now, 79 degrees, as dew point temperatures are right around 70. Current temperatures are in the 70s through much of the state of Wisconsin. Dew point temperatures upper 60s to lower 70s. But notice the drop off over northwestern Minnesota. It's hard to tell in the wind speed and direction. The winds are kind of chaotic because of the showers and thunderstorms that came through. But generally over northwestern Minnesota, those winds are out of the west and northwest. That's where the drier air resides. So once we get past another little round of showers and thunderstorms ahead of the cold front, the upper level winds will remain out of the southwest. So it won't be a big cool down, but the lower level winds will come out of the northwest behind this front, and that will at least dry us out and cool us off a little bit. Current temperatures are in the 70s here. Behind the front, they're in the upper 60s to lower 70s. So again, not a big drop off in temperatures, but the humidity levels will certainly drop. So showers and storms end tonight, and then another little narrow line of showers and storms late tomorrow afternoon. And behind that, things really dry out, and we'll look for pleasant weather for a couple of days before the heat and humidity build early next week. 73 for the overnight low temperature. Still a chance of a shower or thunderstorm. Then for tomorrow, a high of 85. The best chance for a shower or thunderstorm would be in the afternoon. And you can see this on Future Track. Everything clears out of here tonight. Then look for another little narrow line of showers and storms to move through late in the afternoon. And then after that, notice the skies clear out, the winds become northeasterly, the air dries out, temperatures drop to the upper 50s by early on Friday morning. And Friday, look for highs in the upper 70s to around 80 degrees. As we take a look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, pretty nice weather expected for the weekend. High temperatures, low to mid 80s, low humidity, but then the heat and humidity build next week. Temperatures back up close to 90 for much of the week. Could be a couple of chances for showers and thunderstorms, but most of the time it'll be rain-free and just sweltering.
Oh, so a little break.
Look forward to the weekend.
All right, looking forward to that. We deserve it. All right, Gary, thank you.
You're welcome.
The Brewers have a great 4th of July at Miller Park. The story is coming up in sports.
The Brewers finish off a 3-game sweep of the Minnesota Twins this afternoon at Miller Park. Nice moment before the game as every Brewers player presents a personalized jersey to a veteran to honor their service on the 4th of July. In the game, the Brewers get 3 solo homers, Travis Shaw, Brad Miller, and Nate Orf. But here's the play everyone's talking about. Brian Dozier looks for a 9th-inning homer, but Keon Broxton steals it from going over. Jeremy Jeffress gets the win. Corey Knebel to save. Final score, Brewers 3, Twins 2. The Atlanta Braves are at Miller Park starting tomorrow night. The Cubs play at Wrigley Field against the Detroit Tigers. The Cubs' Javier Baez steals home with a great slide around the catcher. Second time this season, Baez has stolen home. Final score, Cubs 5, Tigers 2. The Brewers' lead over the Cubs in the Central Division remains at 1 game. The Madison Mallards lost to Battle Creek 7-0 to start the second half of the Northwood season at Warner Park this afternoon. The Mallards are in the playoffs after winning the first half, and you have to give plenty of credit to Mallards manager Donnie Scott. He's a baseball lifer. He played 9 years in the major leagues. He's in his 5th season as the Mallards manager. He's old school and says Madison has been a great fit.
I knew. I said this. Hopefully this is my last job, but hopefully it's in about another 20 years. You know what I mean? I absolutely love this stuff. I try to keep that old game still intact. You know what I mean? That's kind of my journey. We're getting caught too much up in numbers, and I believe there is emotions in this game, and it seems like everybody's trying to take that away, and I don't agree with it.
Believe it or not, Packers training camp begins 3 weeks from tomorrow. With Aaron Rodgers back at 100% and tight end Jimmy Graham giving the offense a boost. Even with their perceived flaws on defense, the Packers consider to be Super Bowl contenders again this season. NFL on CBS analyst Tony Romo really likes the Packers' position right now.
I think the Packers probably got better, maybe more than any team I saw this offseason. I think Green Bay, if I was, it's too early, but, injuries happen, things, can happen. But right now, they're right at the top for me as far as a pick for a team that, you wouldn't want to see in the playoffs right now. For Green Bay, it's like if their secondary is a little bit better, I think that they're the team to beat this year going into the football season.
Well, nobody eats more hot dogs faster than Joey Chestnut at the Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Championship on Coney Island today. Chestnut broke the world record with 74 hot dogs and buns eaten in 10 minutes. It's his 11th title. By the way, 74 dogs and buns are 22,200 calories. Mickey Sudo won her 5th straight women's title with 37 dogs consumed. And some people didn't have a very good 4th of July. Former Brewer and now Tampa Bay Ray Carlos Gomez struck out against the Miami Marlins. He went back to the dugout and let a poor, innocent cooler have it. Again and again and again. He wasn't done yet. A poor, innocent Gatorade container fell victim to the same thing. Carlos Gomez is hitting .195 in the season, but man, can he hit coolers. We'll be right back.
One more day of heat.
Yeah, it was a sweltering 4th of July, but the good news was, at least tonight, that the showers and storms, for the most part, fizzled out right before the fireworks displays, and they're pretty much gone now. Current temperature is still pretty warm in the upper 70s, and with dew point temperatures in the upper 60s to lower 70s, those temperatures aren't going to fall very much more from where they are now. It still feels like it's almost 80 degrees in Madison right now, but as we look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, those temperatures mid-80s for tomorrow, maybe some afternoon thunderstorms, then we see a drop in the humidity, highs low to mid-80s for the weekend, then back to the upper 80s for much of next week, maybe a couple of thunderstorm chances, but it'll feel more like summer again.
The Packer training camp starting in 3 weeks. It'll be snowing soon, right?
It'll be awesome. that snow globe thing, that's going to be great.
Thanks for spending your 4th of July with us. Have a good evening. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Good night, everyone.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.